Batya Ungar-Sargon is your opinion editor of Newsweek. Her new book, Second Class: How the Elites Betrayed America's Working Men and Women. Perfect guest for this topic, because we move it past anti-Semitism into what it is, neo-Marxism. How did liberal America become so illiberal?
It's a great question, Leland, and the answer is because the thing that distinguishes it from moderate America or conservative America is not actually that it is liberal or even that it is left. It is that it is a product of an elite university education. And that's why CNN and MSNBC and the liberal outlets are not covering it. They know that there is no purchase or buy-in from the average American for this kind of chicanery. And the thing to note about this, Leland, is that at the same time as these people are chanting these ugly slogans at Jewish students, they are also demanding a safetyist standard that they be protected from the kinds of normal things that happen in public, like being filmed by the media. All of this comes together to show you, like, this is not like previous anti-war movements. These people do not want to convince the vast majority of Americans. They want to lord their elite status over them. They want the right to be morally superior, which is why the liberal media is not covering it.
So you think about 1968, right, when there was a real anti-war movement in America. And we look at the side-by-side videos, and it's chilling, really, if you think about what 68 meant in America and where conceivably we're headed in 2024. But if you think about liberal universities that came out, and the liberal concept on university campuses that came out of 68 and brought about a lot of really great things out of that, and some really, really important changes in America. And yet now that same liberal worldview is now eating itself almost, as we're seeing professors protecting the students, professors giving kids time out of off class in order to go to these protests. I'm trying to figure out, and this is where we go from here, how, if these universities ever come back from this.
Yeah, I mean, think of Dr. King, right? He mobilized mass support for civil rights by appealing to the common humanity in the average American that he knew was there, you know, beneath the racism, right? Or if he didn't know it was there, he was convinced that he could convince them that it should be there. This is the exact opposite. These professors are coddling their students who they are terrified of. The students are totally amoral. They're chanting slogans from Hamas's charter, right? They do not want to convince anybody. They want to shrink the number of people who agree with them, which is why they're so hateful, because that's how they bolster their elite status. If the elites get mass purchased, they're no longer the elites, right? That's what we're seeing here.
Okay, so you think about where this came from, which was out of the BLM movement. Movement came out of a neo-Marxist worldview. Ibram X. Kendi and others, Nicole Hannah-Jones. What happened? How all of a sudden did the Palestinians become the cause des célèbres now 4 years after the 2020 riots?
You know, it's a great question, right? Every day it seems like there's a new cause du jour. In my view, the reason that they abandoned the Black Lives Matter call for, you know, revolution and the re-racialization of American life was because there was no buy-in from average Black people who just want to live in peace next to their neighbors. They abandoned that. They moved on to the trans agenda, right? But the trans agenda also has no real purchase. It is such a niche view that does not actually distinguish left versus right, but the elites from everybody else. And now they've alighted on this issue. Now, Leland, there is a way to advocate for Palestinians that would have a lot of purchase. People are upset about the devastation in Gaza, although the vast majority of Americans back Israel. But if these protesters would oppose Hamas and demand the release of the hostages, that would have mass buy-in from the American people. Instead, they choose to side with the people who have perpetrated the most evil we have seen in recent history, because that is how they distinguish themselves from the good-hearted middle-class Americans.
Yeah, they align themselves with those who they view as oppressed, so then they can do what they want. All right, Batya, thank you very much as always. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.